Even though copywriting is one of the easiest and most laid-back ways to make money in 2024, this one part of the process scares 95% of you away from it. And that is selling people on your service. You do everything right. You send a good DM. You had a great conversation with a prospect and you got them interested. But then you get on a call and when it's time to actually sell your thing, you lose it. In one of my older videos, I covered how to find people and how to do outreach for them so you can actually find these people in the first place. But this is like the part 2 of that video. You're gonna learn how to take sales calls without looking like you're brand new to this game, and how to actually close the people that decide to get on the phone with you to buy your services. Now, before we jump into the video, I want to share a story, because a lot of people think that sales is like a skill that you're kind of born with, and I promise you that it's not. I used to look at good salespeople and I would think you have to be super charismatic, you have to really know how to talk to people, you have to be super charming. And since that wasn't something I didn't think I had, I was really nervous to do my first sales call. Before I even teach you how to do any of this stuff, you have to believe in your brain that you can do this no matter who you are. Confidence is something that comes with time, and if you do enough sales calls, which you will, you're going to get there. I went from being like a little scared kid on sales calls to being able to close anybody who's in front of me. I can sell anything now. You have to get it through your head that this is something that you can do, and that's the only way this is gonna work. All right, let's get into the first step. You have to understand this is not a job interview. The frame that you're probably going into this sales call with is that the person on the other end is judging you, and if you're not up to their standards, then you're not gonna get the sale. And the reason you think that is because every time you ever tried to get a job, that's what it looks like. It's an interview. They're trying to see if you're gonna be a good fit for their company. When you are a freelancer, the best part is you are also deciding if they're a good fit for your company. You have to go into this thinking, is this person going to be a good client? Are they gonna get results? Are they gonna allow me to do my thing and let me work? Are they gonna be bad vibes if I'm working with them every single day? Listen, I understand you need the money and I understand you want the sale, but it's still on you to make sure that you're not getting into a position where you're working with some terrible client, because it's honestly not worth the money. So go into the sales call with the understanding that you need to be assessing them just as much as they're assessing you, because they actually, believe it or not, need you more than you need them. You have to think about it from the perspective of the business owner. If some random person slides in their DM and tells them about something and they decide to take their time to get on a call with you, it's obviously important to them. You've told them something that makes them interested enough to maybe work with you and maybe pay you money because they think they're gonna get something more out of it. And the person who needs the other person less wins. The less needy you are, the more likely you are to get the sale. Which brings me to the next part of the video. Part 2 is frame and leading the conversation. If you don't know what frame is, let me let you in on an inside joke between me and my friends. Here's frame right here, okay? Sometimes me and my boy will be walking on the sidewalk on one side of the street. And if I just decide I feel like crossing the street and he comes along with me, I'll just be like, frame. Because he just did what I did and he's being led by me, which makes me daddy. I framed him. Or the other week we were at UFC and we were all like standing up and watching the fight, and I sat down, and because I sat down, he sat down too, and I was like, frame. So long story short, frame belongs to the leader. Whoever's leading the conversation, whoever's like making the conversation be what they want it to be, has frame. It's this concept in sales that you've probably heard of before. It basically means that you're standing your ground in the conversation and you are directing it in the way that you want it to go. And this usually looks like if the prospect starts asking you a bunch of questions when you're like in the middle of your line of questioning, you just basically say like, hey, listen, we'll get there, but I gotta get through these questions first. And then you just re-ask your question. If they go, okay, that means you framed them. And the easiest way to establish frame is to set an agenda, because you are interviewing them. But the key is, it should not feel like a high pressure interview. It should feel like a conversation, but no matter what, you should be leading it. The vibe of the call should feel like friendly banter between two people, but you're actually trying to make them make a decision on whether or not they should hire you. Keyword friendly. It's supposed to be chill. This is an example of how a sales call should sound, and this is pretty much how every conversation I have with a prospect for copywriting goes like. So let's say my prospect's name is Colin, and he has a fitness training business where he coaches people how to be in better shape. So we hop on a Zoom call and it's gonna go like this. Hey Colin, what's going on, bro? Hey Mason, how's it going, bro? Yo, dude, where are you at? It looks like Miami out there. And he's like, yeah, it is Miami, bro. I'm in South Beach. I'm like, no way, dude. How have I never seen you? I'm in South Beach all the time. He's like, yeah, man, South Beach is sick. Where are you in Miami? I'd be like, oh, well, I'm in Brickell. Yeah, I'm a little box in the sky in the middle of the city. I'd be like, yeah, man, Brickell's sick. Just like all the homeless people, we're just trying to, get rid of those, trying to teach them copywriting. You know what I mean? He'd probably be like, yeah, man, teach them copywriting, man. Get them off the streets. I'd be like, yeah, man, I'm doing my best. But let's talk about you here, Colin. And I'd be like, so tell me about your business. He'd be like, yeah, well, we're doing pretty well right now. We're doing like 50, 60K a month. And like, that's pretty good. But like, I kind of want to get those numbers up. And I'd be like, all right, where's your traffic coming from? Like, how are you getting these customers into your business? He'd be like, well, we got a bunch of followers on Instagram. We probably got like 150,000 followers. I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. He's like, yeah, we got probably like 15, 20,000 people on our email list right now. And we're like, dude, that's phenomenal. Like, are you monetizing them well? And he'd be like, yeah, I'm probably sending like an email a week right now. And I'd be like, what, bro? You're sending an email a week? He's like, yeah, is that too much? I'd be like, no, dog, that's too little. You should be doing at least 3 a week. And he'd be like, yeah, I know, bro, but it just takes me so much time. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, and anytime I write an email, it just like never makes any sales. And I'd be like, I mean, dude, like, you're in the right place. Like, this is literally what I do. He'd be like, well, how can I make more sales from email? And then I would frame him because I'd say like, hold on, we'll get there in a second, but I want to know more about like the traffic that you're running. And he'd be like, oh, okay. And then I would say like, okay, where else are your sales coming from? He'd be like, well, like a lot from Instagram and a lot from SMS. And I'd be like, okay, SMS is also something I do, so that's super easy. And I could probably make your Instagram pop a little bit more than it already is. He's like, well, how would you do that? I'd be like, well, I also write scripts too, so I could just write you stuff that you can say on Reels. You know, it's copywriting, so I know it's gonna do well and it's gonna make you money. He'd be like, okay. And I would say something like, do you think that if I had 4 or 5 emails a week going out for you, an SMS every time an email goes out, and I'm writing you scripts for Instagram, do you think that would help your business grow? And he'd be like, yeah, probably. And that's when we get to pitching the price. So you see what I did in that example just now, where I just brought him through his business. I showed him all the things that he could be doing to make more money, and I told him that I'm the one to do it. He also told me he has no idea how email marketing works, and he's kind of lacking on SMS, and he's kind of lacking on Instagram. And by the way, this is not like a made up scenario I'm giving you. This is how calls sound. Like, this is how prospects talk. This is like literally what this is supposed to go like if you get on a call. And so now that I've identified that he needs help, I've identified that he doesn't know how to do it himself, I've identified that he wants to make more money, now is when I pitch the price. So let's jump back in. I would say, Colin, if I could write you 4 emails a week, I could write you SMSs, and I could help you grow on Instagram, would that make more money? And he's like, yes. And I'd say, okay, well, the price for this package would be $3,000 a month. And then I would sit there and stare at the camera, right in the lens, and I would make sure he sees the inside of my eyeballs to show how serious I am about $3,000 a month. Now, here's a secret too. $3,000 a month may sound like a lot to the average person, because $3,000 even one time is pretty absurd. To pay that for a service is like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But to a business owner, this is literally chump change. Most business owners pay $3,000 a month to someone to sweep the floors. They will 100% pay you $3,000 a month to make them more money, especially if you're like Colin and you're already making 50, 60K a month with your business. Usually what's gonna happen, Colin's gonna hear me say $3,000 a month, and he's gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, sounds good. And we can start right now. Or Colin might have some objections for you. An objection is basically just something that the prospect will tell you when they're kind of not really sold and they want to weigh out. They feel uncomfortable paying you the amount of money that you're asking for, and they're trying to give you excuses as to why they can't do it. So here's a list of objections that you're probably gonna get and how you can handle them. The first one is a price objection. So people will say, that's a lot of money, I don't know, that might be too expensive. So if Colin said that to me, he was like, I don't know, it's kind of too expensive. I'd be like, Colin, like compared to what? And Colin would be like, I don't know, like when I look at copywriters on like Upwork or Fiverr, like a lot of them are working for like 30 bucks an hour, like that might be a better way to go. And I can say like, Colin, if you want to just ruin your business overnight, feel free to hire an Upwork copywriter at $30 an hour. Please go be my guest. If you want to be a little less sassy, there's another way to handle that. You can say, Colin, I understand, I get it. $3,000 a month sounds like a lot, but look at you. You're already at 50, 60K a month, and you're doing like basically none of the things that you should be doing as a business owner. I know that if I do my thing in here and I actually work and I give you emails and I'm monetizing this list, I'm helping you grow on Instagram, and I'm helping you like actually make more money from the platforms you already have, you're gonna make your $3,000 back like 10 times over, literally. Like if you're not at 50K or 100K a month by the end of this, I will be shocked. And keep in mind what my tone was there. I'm not like pressuring him, or I'm not like giving him some canned line. Like this is just stuff that I say. This is like how I sound. Very casual, very chill, very laid back. You don't have to pressure them. Or he might say like, how are you gonna know how to write about my niche? In his case, it's fitness. Because let's be real here, like I go to the gym, but I'm definitely not a fitness trainer. I might not be, in his eyes, the best fit to write for a fitness training coaching business. In which case you can say something along the lines of like, listen, Colin, I get it. Like I'm not a personal trainer. I don't know about joints and ligaments and muscle groups and stuff. And I might rely on you for some of the sort of like nitty gritty information on like, what stuff is called maybe. Like I'm gonna borrow content from you. I'm probably gonna ask for some inspiration on like what to write about. But the key here, Colin, is that I know how to write words that fucking sell. I know how to position your product in a way that's gonna make it the most valuable product in the eyes of your prospects. So no, I'm not a fitness expert, but I don't have to be. I'm an expert in money. I love money, Colin, and we're gonna make it together. On the real though, all you have to say is that like they're gonna help supply some of the actual information for you. But the copywriting fundamentals, the stuff that's gonna make them money, works on every niche. Doesn't have to be just fitness or just make money online or just whatever, just e-com. It works for everything. If you know the fundamentals, you can write for anybody. Sometimes people see, can I see a portfolio and some of your work? In which case you would say, yes, absolutely. I'm sorry I didn't send that sooner. Here you go. Why are you gonna say that? Because you should already have a portfolio. This doesn't have to be copy that you've written professionally and been paid to do. This can be stuff that you just wrote on your own. You saw a brand online that you liked, you wrote them a fake email, and you put it in your Google Drive, and that's your portfolio. If you've done that 10 times, like I recommend you to, then you should be good. Because they don't necessarily wanna see like the results of it, they just wanna see that you can write in English and you don't write like an idiot. If they say, do you offer a guarantee? You can say, sure. You can say like, what are you worried about happening? They might say, oh, I'm worried that I'll pay you and then I won't get any results. You can say, Colin, I know for a fact you're gonna make back $3,000. Like, you're not worried about actually not making back $3,000, are you? And then call them back off. I mean, say like, you know what, you're right. That is a small amount of money. And you can say, if I don't make you back the $3,000, I'll refund the difference. So if I only make you back $2,500, then I'll just send you back $2,500 and I'll keep $500. You have to have more conviction in yourself. You have to understand that like any half decent copywriter who knows how email works and how to actually write words that sell will make sales. You will make the money back for Colin, for the client. It's not a big deal. If you don't make it back, I'll refund you, no problem. Now the scariest one is when people get called out for never having done this before, for being a newbie. So people will say stuff like, have you ever actually done this before? In which case you can say, professionally, client-facing, technically no. Because obviously you've written copy before, and you don't wanna lie and say that you've worked with other clients if you've never have before. So you can say like, listen, like, have I had an arrangement like this, writing copy? No, not officially. But I promise you that you are not gonna find someone who works harder than I do. You can say, right now, you're my only client. I'll admit that. You know, I'm looking to get a couple more clients, but I want to work with you because I think you're cool. You seem like a cool person to work with that I know I can help, and you know, I know it's gonna work out because you're gonna have me 24/7. You can say, I'm gonna make this work because this is all I got going on right now. Like if you want a creative version of a robot that just follows commands and makes you money, then you're looking at it. This is what I am. You can charm your way out of that. Now, what's probably happening in your head is you're thinking, $3,000 a month, can I actually charge that? Like, can I actually do this? So there's two things I want to tell you. First thing is, $3,000 a month every single time? Probably not. Not every business owner has $3,000 a month to even give you. I think the minimum you should usually accept is like $2,000 a month. But if you're really down bad and you got nothing else going on and you just want to, you know, make some money and learn, $1,000 a month, $500 a month, whatever. Basically take what you can get, but aim higher. Because what usually happens is people will pitch at $2,000 a month, and it's way too easy and quick for the client to be like, yeah, done, let's do it. Where they think like, fuck, I probably should have said $4,000 because you just left $24,000 a year on the table, technically. So start $3K a month, maybe if they're really broke, $2K a month, and if they actually have nothing, then just take $500 a month or something. Now, if you still think $3,000 a month to charge is crazy, let me tell you about Bo. I talked to Bo the other day, and she just had a client pay her $17,000 last month. That's one client paying her $17,000 for a month of work. Why is that? Because she has what's called rev share. Rev share means you get a piece of the client's revenue that they bring in from your work. So Bo has a $5,000 a month retainer that she gets paid no matter what with this person, and then she gets 10% of the upside that she brings in for this client. And Bo's only been a student of mine for like 8 months. So if Bo can hop in my program and 8 months later get a client paying her $17,000 a month, you can get $3K a month. Now listen, I know I say this at the end of every video, but I do it for a reason. I cannot stop talking about this because my wins chat in Slack is flooded with people making money with copywriting, and I want you to be next. I have a coaching program called the Inner Circle, where it is literally my job to coach you one-on-one with me and my team to help you get to 5 to 10K a month with copywriting. And now that you know how to sell, I feel like it's gonna be really easy for you. When you hop in, we give you a bunch of course content to go through, and we give you one-on-one calls with coaches. We give you daily group calls for the coaches to tell you the good word of copywriting. You get to talk to a bunch of other copywriters who are like 2 to 5K a month, 10 to 20K a month, and then people like me and Griff and Bo who are all above 50K a month. And we make it absolutely impossible for you to fail. So if you wanna check that out, go to the description, click the link, and watch that video, okay? Anyway, hope you found this helpful. If you enjoyed this video, click like, comment your favorite part, and click the bell if you wanna see more videos. And if you just did any of those 3 things, frame.